Today we get another talent tree and guide for Fantasy Flight game Star Wars RPG. This time we're headed to the Age of Rebellion sourcebook for commanders, Lead by Example, and we're talking the Strategist talent tree. The Strategist is part knowledge guy, part leader guy with an emphasis on mass combat. In many cases, neither concept alone has been enough to keep things interesting, so smashing them together seems like a pretty good idea. Let's see if it pans out. The Strategist has to be one of the most mass combat-y talent trees in the entire game, with multiple talents to help you during mass combat checks. There's some passive dice pool manipulation, as well as a more active resource-based one that's even more effective. And it doesn't take forever to start getting these and to have both of them, or all of them, however many, I forget. Also, there's a talent that changes the skill ranks used with mass combat checks to knowledge warfare, and like with the figurehead similar talent, it's not quite as helpful as it first appears. As far as general leadership goes, we get some decent help with the checks themselves, as well as more specific help guiding allies through their fear checks. And we have a party buff, which throws some die results to allies if they're close enough. The annoying thing with this is that it scales up with ranks of leadership, which I thought we got out of having to worry about so much, given that we can do mass combat without ranks in leadership. It feels more like it's there to encourage us to focus on and use knowledge warfare. I guess it wasn't getting enough use before, than it is to actually give us something good. We're also pretty solid with the whole initiative thing, so you're more likely to be able to go earlier and help your teammates sooner. So that'll be really helpful for the first round. Now for knowledge, we're better at researching with knowledge checks and get a bunch of knowledge skills as career skills. But not in the way you'd think, and we get some customization here you normally don't get a lot with the skills in this game. My old nemesis, Knowledge Specialization, makes an appearance as well, where you can pick a type of knowledge to be gooder at by trading triumphs for successes. Typical book suggestions for spending successes on knowledge checks make this talent's unsuckiness depend on how much the GM wants to go out of their way to let you spend successes. But of course, there's also the I failed with a triumph situation, which does happen, and hopefully will happen enough on the particular knowledge check you happen to choose for this talent to be worth it. Good luck! Finally, we have a triplet of talents that combine our leadership and knowledge stuff, well, thematically, at the very least. One lets you rewrite the matrix and change something about the scene without the normal cost it usually takes. This is something I hate being able to do to begin with and wouldn't use this talent purely on principle, but you do you. The other two talents allow you to buff your allies with your knowledge checks. One is big and not very often. The other can be done quite consistently and isn't quite as good, but still pretty good, especially in combat. I definitely prefer this team buffer version of a knowledge guide to the self-buffer focused scholar, and if you're playing a campaign with a decent mass combat focus, this is definitely a tree worth playing. Though it is worth noting that most of the mass combat stuff is fairly avoidable if you just want to make a beeline through to the knowledge and team helper stuff. So, if your GM has little to no interest in mass combat for the campaign, but the tree still interests you, it's still worth playing. Alright, bye.